It has been a while since I've gotten the opportunity to share some perspectives and stories on the solo poly life. And just the other day, I got the opportunity to discuss it in a lovely societal context. And as always, there is more room for, what is it called? Mononormativity, meaning when people hear the word polyamory or polysecure or solo poly or relationship anarchy, you still have to explain it, which is a-okay, of course, but it's funny the way that it's associated. So in this case, I was talking to somebody Italian, and they said, oh, it's because of your American culture. And I'm like, well, not really. There's plenty of people in America that are just as oblivious to the polyamory and polysecure lifestyle, as well as secure attachment and or not secure attachment. So we don't have a huge culture yet of people talking about being different. I mean, is it different? The part about different, the reason I say this is because if you're talking to me about a couple and or more, jealousy, cheating, respect, I'm thinking about a lot of aspects that relate to the secure attachment of a person within their own adult emotional body. So to me, the conversation is always interesting because it begins with the mononormativity. So the assumption that a person has to be monogamous, and therefore that love is only something of one another. As a 5D mystic, this is something that also is one of those, I have an oversoul and I know about my bonds and they're not going to be canceled because 4D does the canceling. 5D knows there's not canceling. We're part of each other. It's kind of one of those unconditionally loving situations. So mononormativity and conditional love is not equal to love, which, by the way, in our securely attached body is always on because you're in an integrated brain with a restorative embodied self. So when you're in the Enlightenment Soul Age group ecstasy is because we're in our mammalian heritage. So it's human 101. So, how do you go and talk about all this stuff? You really don't. But I do want to share the way that I handle this situation, which was very, again, humorous because they also don't really take you seriously. So I haven't yet found somebody who's been offensive, meaning how, like, oh my gosh, you're a devil child. I haven't had that one just yet, although I'm sure there are plenty that might do stuff like that behind the scenes, which it's fair. I mean, I would probably prefer them not to really get all pissy in my face. I mean, there's no point. And so it's better to go like the ghosting part, how people just kind of go silent with you. Sometimes that's why we're like, I won't wonder about that one. Because usually if we are people who like each other and we're grown-ups about the fact that we all have different lifestyles, we're not really going to be those types of cancel culture. The immature, and that would be the insecure attachment and or just attachment wounds and or projection, so unfinished business from one's own household that you then bring into other pictures, because it's not about belief system, because I can say, yeah, my belief system is relationship anarchy. Why do I have to use the words that you use? Why can't I use bonds? Why can't I use special? Why can't I use consensual non-monogamy? Why do I have to use a sinner, cheater? That makes no sense, meaning you have a belief system, you have a way that you will want to discuss relationships. I can have a different way. And this is why adults have all types of conversations, because the intellectually speaking and emotionally speaking adults can handle that people see differently. So the ones who can't, they do one of two things, which is they will maybe, again, insult you in your face. And I'm going to say that that's not really a good sign. It's actually a sign of a person who's really reactive. Saying it behind the back is better, because at least they know common courtesy, like, oh, let me not say my actual opinion because they're different from me. So there's that. But in this instance, it was a very fun conversation, but the person remained oblivious to what polyamory is and was, and she's not really that interested in it, though. She was having a way of asking something, and I'll present to you the story, because of us talking about optimal relationships. And I was trying to explain how secure attachment individuals usually have what is called compersion. Does not mean compersion in the polyamory sense. It means compersion in the I will be happy if you're happy in life. And if you and I are out and we are having a good time, and the example was they're not looking at you, they keep looking over to some other human being, how would you feel? Would you not be jealous? Would you not find that disrespectful? Would you not get angry or upset? And another person chimed in, this is a male friend, and he was like, yeah, I mean, indifference, you can't be indifferent. And as I'm having two people on both ends of the spectrum, only my other girlfriend was like, no, but she just doesn't have jealousy. She has this compersion. She didn't know the word, but my friend knows me, and she's like, she's always been this way since I was a teenager. I just didn't have the polyamory word because it didn't exist in 1996. I don't know. I forget when it was coined. So long story short, they're giving me this scenario, and in my mind I'm thinking if it actually were happening. So if I'm talking to you and you keep looking over to another person, I would eventually lead myself to do a couple of things, but none of them involve me getting angry or feeling disrespected or being in any way, shape, or form like, oh, how dare they take away their attention from me? You know, it's more of, okay, obviously something's going on here. They're intrigued, they're interested. So one of two things, either interrupt the entire conversation and be like, look, you know, I think you're more interested in whatever is going on over there. So how about you approach the person? Because you're going to have fun. Go. I can sit here and drink whatever I'm drinking, and I'll wait. Or if you want, I can go grab them for you. Or scenario two, which is actually to literally get up and walk over and say, hey, excuse me, my friend over here has been looking at you. I think they would like to say a couple words or maybe tell you how beautiful. I don't know, really. Let's ask them. So those were two scenarios that came immediately to my mind because I'd be humored by the fact that if you and I are conversing and you keep looking over, like you can actually as an adult say, hey, Maria, can you hold on a minute? Because I really want to go over there. I'm really attracted to that person, or there's something. Because see, here's where if you are an emotionally mature human being, independently from if you're a monogamous person or polyamorous, you'd be able to have what I say are balls to be like, hey, you know, I'm actually quite intrigued. My brain is not intrigued with this right now. I want to go over there. And I'd be so happy about that because that means you know how to take ownership of your own attention and focus and your time, as well as demonstrate a natural way of respecting another's. Meaning, if I keep looking over, obviously I'm going to be having a person notice that I'm not interested. Like it's more of, to me, awareness. But since so many people, apparently, no. I have never found myself personally in a situation like that. But I have found myself with people, the watch thing, or maybe I was doing the watch thing. I think I was looking to be at home at some time. It was curfew. And the person's like, you know, it's rude for you to keep looking at your watch. It makes me think you don't want to be here. Something like that. I forget who it was. I was like, okay, wow. And that was the day that I learned how not to look at a watch because some people get really insecure about you not wanting to spend time with them. That's called subjective experiences. So here's where a secure person, we actually do not in any way, shape, or form ever think of us being as superior or inferior. So my worth is never questioned because you might get distracted and look at somebody else. That's why compersion is straightforward. Independently, again, from polyamory or monogamy, if you're happy, I'm happy for you. That's what love is. It's unconditional because my safety is secure attachment in my own body with my integrated brain, my restorative embodied self. So it's an emotional adult who can self-regulate, self-surrender. You are not just your parent. No, you're actually the adult you with your charged states, your child states. They're all uncharged though until sometimes we all have triggers, but they don't typically tend to be in our relationships because again, unconditional love. The tango is done because of intellectual and emotional interests, which are easy and straightforward because I can be my 3-year-old whole heart. They can be their 3-year-old whole heart. And so if you're paying attention to something else, I'm going to be happy or curious or humored or a little bit of everything, but I won't be pissy. I mean, maybe as a teenager, but that's because teenagers, we are all immature as teenagers. Then we grow up. Well, Some of us do. So that's the story of the day. Have a great one.